Well, hello there. My name is Beth Gaff, and I am the Systems Administrator, Technology Trainer, and Robotics Instructor here at the Peabody Public Library. And today we are going to be talking about using your computer for accessibility, which means if you have problems seeing, hearing, anything along those lines, then this class is going to be for you. This might be a brief session. Then again, it could be a very long session. I'm not really sure of the time that we're looking at when it comes to accessibility and helping those in need that may have struggles, especially in the technology world. So we are going to get started with this. I am assuming at this point you have already set up your computer and you're just looking for some tips on how you can accessibly use it to the most of your advantage. So we are going to be talking about some things today, tools to help with visual impairment, replacing sounds with visual cues, making your text larger and smaller, setting up speech recognition, using on-screen keyboard features, customizing your mouse, your cursor, zooming in and using magnifiers, and so on and so forth. So the first thing you need to do is understand. See if I can move this down. Perfect. Understand how to access your accessibility features. Where are you going to go to find these features for yourself? Well, you're going to find those in the Ease of Access Center. The majority of them anyway. So you're going to go down to your Start menu. Now, whether you're working with Windows 7, working with Windows 10, it really doesn't matter. You're still going to go down to the Ease of Access. So we're going to push on our Start menu. And by pushing on our Start menu, if you're in Windows 10, you are now getting the Start feature, the Start features right here. If you're on Windows 7, you probably just have a little box that came up about the size of this that has all of your information on it. Regardless, we need to get to our settings. So you're going to go into your settings. And here in the settings, you can clearly see, and let me make this a little bigger. Let me see here. My screen only records so far, so I don't want to make it too terribly big. Okay, so in this area, you can see this is all about our systems, devices, phone, networking, personalizing, gaming, time, speech, accounts, apps, search, Cortana, privacy, and update and security. So we are going to go into Ease of Access and push on that. Okay, so both Windows 7, Windows 8.1, Windows 10 all include Ease of Access Center. The simplest way to get started is by pressing and holding down that logo key, which is down here in the bottom corner. While you're pressing that, then you can open it up and you'd be able to find the settings. So again, let's do that again. So if you come into your Start menu, you can go into your settings. From here, we are going to Ease of Access. Okay. So this allows you to, in the display, because we can see that we have a lot of different features that we can use in the Ease of Access. So from here, we can actually make our text bigger. And we just do that by dragging this little bar across. Dragging that little bar across is going to make the text bigger. So I'm going to put it about halfway and hit apply. And now it's going to go ahead and reset those features. And you can see how it has made the text on these very big. So if you didn't notice before, let me move it back down to the size it was at and apply. See how little all of our lettering is. The lettering is pretty little on all of our icons. However, if I come in here and I decide where I want it and click apply, now it's made all of that information much bigger for me, and now I can see it better on my screen on the computer. So that's a really fancy feature. You can also change the size of your apps on the main screen. Right now it's set at 100%, but if you're having a hard time being able to see that, you can set it at 125, 150, and 175. Pushing on 150 makes it that much bigger, and you can see that. 125 is going to make us a little bit smaller. And 100 is taking us back to the recommended area. So you would just adjust that according to the way that you need it to be done. Now again, this is all under the display in the ease of access. You can also change the size. Okay, so if we push on change the size of the apps, that's now taking us into the display. But I think I want to go back. We can change the size and color of our cursor and pointer. That's this little guy here that we're using. Right now mine's set on a very minimal, but I can make it larger, and the larger that I draw this across, the bigger that my mouse is going to get, so I'm actually able to see what it is touching on. I can also change the pointer color. Excuse me. By default, it is white. You can change it to black. We can also make it see through things. So now we're able to see through. Or you could change the colors. And by clicking on the plus, that allows us to choose other colors as well. So this is how you can change your pointer, so you can make it bigger and smaller for yourself, so you're able to see those items that you're clicking on a little bit easier and a little bit better. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger while we continue so you can see where my mouse is going, and then we can come back to it. Here is where you can change the thickness. See how it's becoming. If you look over here in our ABC section, that's how thick it would be. So you can change the thickness. This says show visual feedback, so it is turned on, and you can make visual feedback for touch points darker. So that's just options that you have. Normally you probably wouldn't touch this too much, but if you wanted to mess with your cursor, you could very well do that. That was under cursor and pointer. We're going to go back to display and see what else is on here. We can change the brightness from automatically or use a nightlight. Right now our nightlight is off, but we can turn it on. And we can go into the settings. This shows us our strength. This is just a nightlight. And you can schedule that nightlight to go on at certain hours. All right. Let's go back to, there we go. Ease of access. That's where we were. Here it can show animations. You can show transparency. More than likely anything below in this area you probably just leave alone. So we've taken a look at the display. We've taken a look at our cursor options, and now we're going to go into the magnifier. Our magnifier is not on right now, but if we turn it on, by turning it on, it gives us this little handy box, which allows us to magnify the screen so we're able to see it better. The magnifier is a very nice feature. So if you would want to turn that on, you could go to Magnifier, turn it on. Another way is by pressing on the Windows logo on your keyboard and pressing the plus to turn it up. So I'm pushing on my Windows key and clicking on the plus, which automatically pulled it up. Minus takes me down. So if you didn't want to have to, okay, so let's get out of here real quick and see what happens if I push on this and my plus. Okay. So I don't necessarily have to be in my settings to be able to use that feature. All you have to do is click on that button on your keyboard, which is in the bottom left-hand corner. Looks like a bunch of windows, usually in between your Control and your Alt, right by your space bar down there in the bottom left-hand corner. If you push on that and click your plus button, it's going to automatically magnify it, or push on it, and you're pushing on it and holding it down. You're keeping it held down while you're pushing on the plus and minus to make the screen smaller and bigger. You can also change the zoom level from here. You can make everything on your computer bigger, which is taking you back to the display where we were able to adjust it here. All right, so this tells us about the pressing the logo key and the plus and minus. Or you can press the Control and Alt and rotate the wheel of your mouse to zoom it in. You can set it up to start the magnifier automatically after you've turned on your computer and you sign in. Then you can set that up. You can also have it start doing it before you sign in for everybody. You can have a collapse magnifier window to a floating transparent, smooth edges, or you can invert colors. So I would suggest that you just kind of play around with your features and see what's going to work best for you. This is changing our magnifier view. By default, it's set up on full screen, and we're just going to keep it that way. And by default, it is going to go ahead and magnify the cursor, the keyboard focus, and some of these other options. So that's all about your magnifier. You can also pin your magnifier to start. Let's see how we do that. Start would be down here. This is pinning things to your start menu. So we can open the start, find the app that we want to pin, and then we right click it. Well, I already knew how to pin. I thought it was going to tell us how to pin a magnifier. Let's see if we push on the magnifier and right click. Let's go into our internet and type in pinning the magnifier. And see if we can pin it to the taskbar. Let's see if I've got my recording. Okay, so this is our taskbar down here. Okay. So it's saying that if we turn this on, let's see if we can drag it. Oh, okay. By clicking it on right here, it automatically puts it down here. If you can see that in our taskbar, it automatically placed it here. So if I right click on that, I can pin it. And now it is down there all the time. So even if I close it, I can push that down below and I'm able to use it. So that's a nice feature. Let me show you that again. So our magnifier can be pinned down here in our taskbar. Our taskbar is down here. So in order to pin it, as soon as we turn it on, it's going to show up right here. So I'm going to turn it on. It showed up right here. I'm going to right click from my mouse, right click and pin. So now it's pinned down here at the bottom. And it's always pinned. So I don't even have to be in this. And I can pull out my magnifier now. That's a pretty cool feature. Let's take a look at color filters. So if we turn on our color filters, turn off, okay, turn on, okay. So you can just kind of, it says it makes your photos and colors easier to see by applying a color filter to your screen. You can also do this by pressing on your Windows logo, Control+C. And these are some of those options for that. High contrast, turning it on. And that's what high contrast does by turning it on. So it makes your area darker in the back, so you're able to see that in the front a little better. And then of course we could even turn on our magnifier, and then you'd be able to even see it even more. And if you want to turn the contrast off, we just push on the on-off switch and it'll convert it back to where it was. The narrator. The narrator is a screen reader that describes what's on your screen so you can use that information to navigate your device. It can be controlled by your keyboard, touch, and your mouse. So here we have the narrator, so we can turn it on.
Narrator dialog, OK, button, Alt+O, heads up. Narrator keyboard changes. We've updated the narrator keyboard layout so it more closely matches the experience you may have had with other screen readers. If you want narrator to tell you what commands are associated with the keys you're pressing, you can turn on input learning by pressing caps lock +1. To turn it off, press caps lock +1 twice. To learn more, press Ctrl plus Windows logo key and N to open your narrator settings and access the online user guide.
Okay.
Narrator heading level 1. Welcome to Narrator. This is Narrator Home, exiting Narrator.
So basically what narrator does is it's going to read everything on your screen for you. So if we keep that on.
Narrator dialog, OK, button. Narrator heading level 1. Welcome to Narrator. This is Narrator Home, where you can get help, access your settings, and learn about new features. Narrator is a screen reader that describes aloud what's on your screen, so you can use that information to navigate your device. Exiting Narrator.
Okay, so when you exit, it automatically turns it off. So you can view the complete guide. Here, let me blow us up a little. So you can view the complete guide here. Open Narrator Home.
Narrator heading level 1. Welcome to Narrator. This is Narrator Home, where you can get help, access your settings, and learn about new features.
Okay, so we're
Exiting
going to
Narrator.
exit that. Startup options. So we can allow the shortcut key to start Narrator. Your shortcut key is that Windows logo. And then you're going to push Control and then Enter.
Narrator
and that turns it on.
Welcome to exiting Narrator.
Or you can just come into Narrator in your ease of access and do those. You can also choose the personalization voice. Right now it's on David. This would be Zira.
Narrator heading level 1. Welcome to Narrator. This is Narrator Home. Exiting Narrator.
They also have Mark.
Narrator heading level 1. Welcome to Narrator. This is Narrator. Exiting Narrator.
And you can even add more voices. You probably have to go to, you have to install a voice package for that. So by default, meaning it's just set up that way, it's just going to be on David. But you can come in and change it to whatever you'd like. You can change your voice speed of how fast that they're telling you things or how slow. You can lower the volume. You can change what you're hearing. Text only. Some details. So you would just need to determine what's going to be most important to you when you're doing this. And you can do that by just pushing some of your buttons and going back in. They have adjusting your details, change what you hear when typing, change when you receive caps lock warnings, keyboard settings, use the narrator cursor, you can use Braille, you can download and install Braille. So there's quite a bit you can do with narration.
Narrator heading level 1. Welcome to Narrator. This is Narrator Home, where you can get help, access your settings. Exiting Narrator.
Okay. Okay. So that was all about Narrator, which reads the screen to you. You can control your mouse with the keypad. Or change other mice options. So you have a lot of stuff that you can do in there. All right, we're going to go now to the hearing section. If you cannot see that, let me blow us up or bring us down. We're going to the hearing section now. We're going to go to audio. So this changes your volume controls. You can change the device. You can change other sound settings from here as well. More than likely, though, you would just use this. Okay, so select how visual alerts for notifications are displayed. So if you have a hard time knowing if somebody's trying to get a hold of you, you could come here and flash an active window. Or you can flash the title bar or flash the entire screen. to get yourself a visual alert to let you know something is happening. Sound settings. And this is just about our microphone or our. Now you can go to closed captioning. This makes your device easier to use without sound. Closed captioning looks like this. It's where it displays everything for you. I'm not sure what the default color is, but you can change it to white, black, red, whatever you'd like. You can change the transparency, the style, the size, and the effects. Caption background colors, video playback settings, so that's just video. So here's where you can go in and adjust all of that closed captioning. So if you want your screen to be able to recite what it is exactly you're watching, reading, previewing, then this is going to be that area for you. Now we're going to talk about interaction, which is speech. So you can talk instead of typing. And you can get Cortana involved. So you can turn on speech. Speech recognition is only available in English. Okay, so if we turn it on, okay, there we go. Change how I talk. All right, so for dictation, we're going to push our logo key in H. And it brought up to use dictation, go to settings, turn on online speech recognition. Okay, so we're going to push on that. And we have to turn it on. Windows key H. It's initializing. Oh, see how it's filling all that in? Display. I'm not even typing. And it's just filling it in. Let me blow this up. Oh, I guess that's as big as we can get it. We can close that, close that. So, turn on speech. Windows key H. Hello, hello. We got to find an area that it can select a text field. Okay. And I just did. Let me get out of there. And window key H, and it's initializing and it's listening to me. And you can see it filling it in as I'm saying it. So if I get out of this, and let's say I go into the internet, hello, hello. So we're going to hit this and the H. And now if I start talking, it's going to fill it in. If you see that right across my line here, select all, and it highlighted it. So now I can delete that. Select all, delete that. All right. So that is all about our speech. And you just need to remember to push that logo key plus H, and it gets you to the speech. Here's our keyboard. You can use the on-screen keyboard instead of actually using the keyboard that you have. So we'd be able to move this around, and you need to be in something that allows you to type. Enter, and that provides our search. We can minimize that. There's our keyboard down here in our taskbar. Okay, so that's how you access your on-screen keyboard. This allows you to press any key at a time for shortcuts. And for the most part, that's probably all you're going to do in here. You're probably not even going to use those sticky keys. We're just using this for the on-screen keyboard. Which is probably going to be easier than actually using your keyboard. You might be able to see it a little bit better. You can even come in here along the edges as long as you get your double arrows. Make it bigger. Let's take a look at our mouse. And this is all about our pointing, and we kind of summed all that up before. Eye control lets you use eye tracking technology to control the mouse. Type using an online keyboard. So in order to do this, you would need to purchase an eye control, which is a supported eye tracking. So if you wanted more info on that, here's more info on the tracking. So there's different kinds of tracking you can do. Trying to get out of this. Because it's going off our page here. Okay. And this is, I'm trying to get us off of this. Trying to remember how to get back. Okay. Trying to get us back here. Let me get us in. This is kind of neat, though, to kind of take a look at and I'm just closing all this out. Just close all. Okay, let us see if we can get us back. Let's see. Magnifier. Okay, display. Magnifier. Alright, well, we're still stuck in this here we go. Magnifier. And I'm not sure where it went. There we go. So I was able to close it. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our settings real quick and see if there's anything left in the ease of access that we can go over. All right, I think we have covered just about everything there is as far as ease of access, accessibility, being able to have it help for you. So let me give you some tips on web browsing. So that would be actually being on the internet. So according to what I'm reading here, if you are browsing the web, there are a few additional settings that can help increase your enjoyment and productivity. In most browsers, the F11 key on your keyboard will toggle you from normal view to full screen. So let's see. Also the view menu on most browsers. So if we are on the internet, maybe that's part of the issue. Let me get out of this. All right, so if we are on the internet, we'll go in here. Okay. So if we are on the internet, you can typically come into the three lines here, and you can also zoom and make your screen bigger from here and smaller from here as well. That's really the main tip that they give us about it. So I am going to be attaching some of these instructions that we have for class today as part of the link, so you'll be able to get on here and print them out for yourself. But this was all about Windows accessibility options for people that are possibly blind, have low vision, maybe aren't seeing as well, hearing as well, things like that. So that's what this class was all about today. I hope you had fun and you learned some new stuff. And I look forward in seeing you in our next session. Hey, thanks so much for being a part of it. I look forward in hearing from you. And if there's anything else you'd like to know, please get in contact with me. I am here for you. So have a great day and thanks for being a part.